Hello and welcome to a 8-mark practice question for paper 2. My name is Mr. Barlow and today we are doing the paper 2, Britain, Health and the People. Now this is a question 3, which is to compare the Black Death in the Middle Ages with the cholera epidemics in the 19th century. In what ways were they similar? Explain your answer with reference to both epidemics. For 8 marks on the right hand side, you see the death there rowing on the Thames. Recognise the Thames as its St Paul's Cathedral, the dome of St Paul's in the background. The silent highwayman, that means the silent mugger, that you don't see a virus coming. So guided learning time or guided writing time for this is 10 minutes. On the left are higher order thinking skills from bottom upwards, from purple. For levels 1 to 2, for 1 to 4 marks, you need just to give a basic to simple explanation of one similarity between the two epidemics. For silver, for level 3, to get 5 to 6 marks, you need to be able to give a developed explanation of two similarities. And what we're aiming for is our bronze level 4, 7 to 8 marks, to give a complex explanation of the similarities within a historical context. So what's going on around these epidemics and making links. Now, for the paragraphs, I've done three, and you need to have to do 2 at least for 4 marks, and try and do peel paragraphs. That's a point, evidence, explanation, and then link back to the title. For the first paragraph, the causes. The two epidemics are similar because they were both caused by, or because people didn't understand what they were caused by, and use your own knowledge to explain your argument. What were they caused by? What did people think they were caused by? Now, the cities and towns of both the 19th century of the cholera epidemic and of medieval times of the Black Death, or the bubonic plague, as it's also known as, were extremely dirty. So it's filth that they shared. This dirt was the prime cause of both epidemics. Dirty water being the cause of cholera, and dirty streets attracting the rats that were infested with Black Death carrying fleas. Now, with both diseases, people didn't know the true cause. Well, not until John Snow made the link between cholera and dirty water. Instead, for both diseases, they believed in causes such as miasmas, that's like bad air, and God punishing people. This caused thousands of people to die in both epidemics. And at the bottom there, you see again similarity between pictures of 2 illustrations on the left, bottom left. That's from the Black Death, dancing on someone's grave, and on the right it shows the water pump which was carrying the cholera virus, which was the sole drinking water outlet. Now, for paragraph 2, events, developments. The two epidemics are similar because of their events, symptoms, the way that they developed. Use your own knowledge again to explain. Now, there was much in common between the two epidemics. Both were severe, with the Black Death or bubonic plague as it's at its height between 1348 and 1350. The plague ravaged 60% of Europe's population. Likewise, between 1830 and 1860, cholera took 1 million Londoners' lives. Both had a high mortality rate, so it was very quick to die. So dying very quickly after showing alarming symptoms. The bubonic plague, the symptoms were fever and swellings, called cutely named buboes, and cholera, of vomiting, cramps, and dehydration, with a quick death following both of these sets of symptoms. Both were explained away by religion as punishment for immoral living and displeasing God, and both triggered blame towards the very poorest people in society. With the Narbonne peasants in France being mass murdered, and also the great unwashed, the very poorest, being blamed for the cholera epidemics. Now, paragraph 3, consequences. The two epidemics both had similar consequences. For example, use your own knowledge to explain what the impact of each epidemic was, and use evidence from both the topics. Now, even though both epidemics caused a huge loss of life, there was some positive outcomes that improved people's lives and working conditions. Following the Black Death, surviving peasants were able to demand better rights and higher wages from the lords. This was because their labour was in demand due to so many peasants being killed by the Black Death, particularly in farming, where the peasants knew that the lords were desperate to get their harvests in so they could move around and charge higher prices. Similarly, following the cholera outbreak, the government passed the first Public Health Act of 1848, which was then followed up by the improved 1875 Public Health Act. Both acts worked to improve the conditions of the poor, though everybody benefited in the long run because it ended the laissez-faire, that means leaving things alone approach of previous governments, and encouraged the government to take action in public health, leading to later developments like the founding of the NHS. So any two out of those 3 paragraphs that are developed will get you 8 out of 8. So good luck, and thank you very much for listening.